they all they can do is bring it to attention, but it's more bad police officers than good, and I believe in that. So they could never destroy it because that law has been set in place since back in the day. That blue code of silence. But what they can do is like is shed attention to it and light and let people know that person not going to be with that crooked police officer that did what he did, but he might lose his job for it, or he might be on the beat alone, or they might do something to him.
I was just trying to figure out how they good, and it's known that on the police department there's a code of silence. How are you good and you know that there's a code of silence and you see it going on? You still good until you get put into that situation. Just because you own the police department, in the police department, and you know it's a code of silence, that don't mean when a situation occurs, you're gonna go with it. You know what I'm saying? You good until a situation happened. And then when a situation happened and you still with the code of silence and you knew he shot this person illegally or wrong, now you just as bad as that person if you keeping up the code of silence and not doing what's right. When you became a police officer, you became and swore in to upheld the law. So if he doing something bogus and you don't call him out on it just because of code of silence, you just as bad as him. You can't accuse nobody of being good or being bad until they commit a bad act. Mm-hmm. He's good he's good all the way up to the point when he see the crime and then he doesn't say nothing about it. He's just as bad as the one that did it. But he's good all the way to they commit a crime and he says something about it. Okay, he's one of the good ones. The majority of them are not going to say, I know that for a fact.
That's why I said it's more bad than good.
The majority of them are not going to say anything, brother, because you know what? You can get caught in a crossfire. Well, you know what I mean by crossfire? You can go somewhere and ask for assistance, and they just don't show up. They show up.
That's why I said you be on the beat by yourself, or you might lose your job, but they'll do something to make you lose your job.
They might tell a bad guy, you know what? Take care of him because he on his payroll anyway. So,
right.
I want to ask you, about Larry Hoover and Jeff Forte. They probably have had to deal with some bad and terrible correctional officers. Some correctional officers treat inmates so bad. And you know what? And it's like they're taking it out, the pain that they had from their childhood out on them. Okay? And they talk to them like they dogs, some of them. Should correctional officers have body cams on? Not one body cam, but 2 body cams. So they can never say it went out.
Yeah, because there's a lot of them that turn them off and then try and say, one went out. You can't turn both of them off. Both of them ain't went bad at the same time. And I think that would be better to protect both on both sides. You know what I'm saying? But I think they should have 2 of them because there's a lot of them that'll turn that camera off, and then you will know if it's technical difficulties with that camera if both of them go off because they both ain't going off at the same time.
Now, should they go for the police too?
Yeah, it should go for the police too. Because if they turn one off, the other will still be on. But if they turn one off and they say, oh, my camera, something went wrong, the camera went off, they probably might believe that, but both of them ain't going to go off at the same time.
No. And something, this is the other question I had to think about this question. Do you believe that a police officer and a correctional officer should have their own private insurance? So when there is litigation that takes place, it is not put on the city and it will make them think twice. Damn, if I'm sued, I'm out of my job and probably couldn't even get insurance from another carrier because a hairdresser has to have insurance. A nail person has to have insurance. Should a police officer and a correction officer have to have not the insurance
of the city. I'm talking about their own.
Private insurance.
A private eye has to have personal insurance. Okay.
Yeah,
And why?
I think they should, because that will hold them accountable for their actions. If it had to come out their check instead of the people in the city and taxpayer money, they would think more about what they're doing before they do it or before they commit a crime. Because whatever they're doing to be sued for, they're committing a crime. If they kill somebody illegally or whatever, they're going to think about that before they just shoot somebody for no reason or back in the day, like I was saying, going around robbing people. I was in a situation where the police was going around robbing people. You know what I'm saying? So, and they got sued. So if they being held accountable for their actions and they got to pay for it out their pocket and the city doesn't have to pay, they make them think twice of doing something crazy. Yeah, they should have private insurance.
You know, I'd like to ask you something, and I want the audience to forgive me. I wanted to ask you, what type of message do you have to women prisoners, like in Illinois, Dwight exists, okay? And what type of message do you have for women prisoners? I should have said, that's really should have been my second question. There are women that are locked up. And I know for a fact that are being used for the sexual pleasures of men that exploit them, guards, correctional officers that exploit them. Would you have a message to the people that are exploiting the queens and to the lady prisoners?
My message is if pretty much try and talk to somebody higher up. You know what I'm saying? And it's really, I really have no message for them about that, because that's a situation you wouldn't know what to do unless you was in it. That's what I think. Situations like that, when like you don't know that person's situation, or you don't know what's going on in that jail where they could talk. I can't really say a cinema message, but will stay strong or try and talk to somebody it's always a boss over the one that's over them. You know, it's somebody that can help you. Just reach out to them, right? You gotta find somebody that's gonna listen to you. But that type of situation, I really can't speak upon that, because I think it's up to the individual. You might have that person that don't want to say nothing and just want to keep going through it and get their time and get out. You know what I'm saying? Do their time and get out. But that's a situation I really can't speak upon and tell her what to do, because that's a critical situation. I don't want to tell nobody, oh, do this and go talk to somebody higher up or something like that, and it'd be repercussions behind that. You know what I'm saying? So that part, I really don't know. All I can say is pray on it.
No, I just wanted to get the women prisoners, and you know what? They're often overlooked, some type of encouragement, you know, and because I feel they ignored. I feel women prisoners are ignored to a certain degree, and they, you know what, for whatever their circumstances are, my heart goes out to them. Seeing a woman in prison, it's like, I don't know, man. All I can say is stay prayerful.
Right, that's what I say.
You say Jesus, Yah, or whoever, and you know what? And I'm going to send a message. The correctional officers are people in the facility that are doing you wrong. Pray. You know, you can't do that, but you can put a prayer on them, and you put a prayer on them. You know what? I guarantee you, if your heart is right, Allah, God, or Yah, whoever you say is your God, will deal with them. Believe me. That's what and keep your head up.
Keep your head up.
You're still a woman, no matter how that correctional officer makes you feel. Okay? No matter how that food supervisor makes you feel, how that clerk makes you feel. Women, keep your head up. Okay, that's my message of encouragement.
Right. All I can say is pray on it. Any situation behind the wall, either pray on it, like keep God first, man. And I always do. I keep God first, and I keep it pushing. In situations that I've been in, and I knew it was kind of difficult and it didn't look good. I keep God first, and I keep pushing. He always show up and show out. So,
man, I'm looking at this interview. I'm gonna have to chop this up, brother. Ain't nobody gonna look at this for no over 2.5 hours.
Yeah, chop it up.
I'm gonna have to chop it up probably in 30 minutes or something like that. I don't know, but you know what, man? You know what? Something is eluding me. What final message would you like to leave about Jeff Ford and Larry Hoover? Why should they be free? Is it because they are political prisoners? Why? I named all the bad things other people have done. Like there was a bomb that was dropped on Hiroshima in Japan. And this nation says do not kill innocent people. Okay? How come nobody was prosecuted for that? I would like to know that. They say do not kill innocent people. And there was an atomic bomb dropped on Nagasaki, Hiroshima, and I forgot how come nothing was done to them? Why, brother? Come on, brother. Tell the people. Tell them. You know what I'm asking you to help me to understand.
It's the government. It's the government. That's all. You know, the government do what they want to do. The government don't even abide by their own laws. Because if they abide by their own laws that they set, Mr. Hoover will be free right now. So they do what they want, and they do what they want, and they do what they want when they want to do it. So if they want to go drop a bomb over here on China, they gonna go do it. It's the government is the biggest gang there is.
You say the one, not the ones behind me. They the biggest gangsters.
No, the government is the biggest gangsters. The government is the biggest mob. You know what I'm saying? It goes down to state, local. You know what I'm saying? And the police is the biggest mob and one of the biggest mobs in your community. They're gangs too. They operate like one, but the government is the biggest gang there is. You know what I'm saying? They rob, steal, and kill.
What would you say about our civil liberties have been down? This turned into another hour. Damn. I'd like to ask you something, brother. What would you say about the Patriots Act? I'm not going to 9/11. You know what? You can believe what you want to believe. But what would you say about the Patriot Act? And everybody is being monitored since the Patriots Act, where they know what library book you check out. They know where you go. They know what your credit card is. You go to Google, you go to Facebook. They know anything. The NSA is monitoring you. Homeland Security is monitoring you. What would you say about that? Do you think that that's justified, that the NSA and Homeland Security, probably even watching us now, is monitoring this society where they can even use your television, and you think your television is off, but it's always on?
That happened.
So what? And your phone is following you around all the time. So what would you say about the Patriots Act and the NSA, Homeland Security, FBI? And you know what? What would you say about that? I'm not trying to cite nothing. I'm trying to get you to explain to the people. You know, and I hope that you can give us clarity. Are they good for us?
And the Patriots, it could be a good thing and it could be a bad thing. It's a bad thing because it's an invasion of privacy. It's a good thing because they could prevent another. Well, 9/11 wasn't anybody foreign. That was within. That was the government that kicked all that off and saying that the plane ran into the building and the building exploded before the plane hit the building by the bottom infrastructure where they said it could be a good thing and it could be a bad thing.
So you're saying the NSA monitoring us consistently, it could be a good thing. Okay.
It could be a good thing to stop terrorism.
Okay.
And that's the only way I could say a good thing. The bad thing about it is I don't want to be sitting up in the house talking and on my phone and I'm sitting there in my like one day I bought a brand new TV. I don't even watch it, big TV, and I be in my room and the TV goes on. I'm like, man, I didn't turn this TV on, and I go in and I turn it off. I asked my daughter and told her about, like, the TV on. She comes like, Dad, it's back on. And I'm like, man, like, that's an invasion of privacy. You know what I'm saying? I didn't turn it on. It came on by itself. And it was on a while before I knew it was on. That's a bad thing. You don't know, like, I don't want no, I need my privacy, even in my own home. I don't want you sitting there listening to me or watching me while I'm getting dressed or anything like that. People are strange. You don't never know who's on the other side of that camera, or he might see a girl, or he might be a pervert. Or that could be a very bad thing because some people, even though they're political police or whatever, they have psychological problems and stuff. And you might have that person watching you and might end up at your home, and because he been watching you